America has watched Michael Jackson mature from child star to superstar. And with the release of Thriller, Michael Jackson achieves a level of fame that few human beings have ever known. But with fame, Michael begins to reveal a more eccentric side to himself.
Michael's guidebook was the biography of P.T. Barnum, because he said, this is what I want my career to be like. I want to be considered, one of the greatest and most talked about and maybe controversial and maybe bizarre entertainers of all time. And they went about the business of doing that in a very specific way.
At the peak of his fame, some strange things started to happen.
Nick Meyer is the editor of Freak, Inside the Twisted World of Michael Jackson, published by the creative team behind the National Enquirer.
I like Bubbles. I think that that's my favorite. I think that him dressing the chimp up to look exactly like him, holding its hand, serving Bubbles high tea, changing its diapers, loving it, cuddling with it. That's probably my favorite.
Though in the 1980s, people are forgiving about the superstar's eccentricities, Michael Jackson is red hot, and his performance at the Motown 25th anniversary television special only fuels the fire.
The Motown 25th is like a moment in history. He was allowed to dance with the black shoes and the shiny socks, and he did the moonwalk. Blew your mind, oh my God. And then he's up on his toes, like a ballerina. It was unbelievable.
Crowds go wild for Michael, and he sits atop the music world as its king. But inevitably, people start wondering about his personal life.
He was already, mid-20s, and there was no sexual energy whatsoever. It was totally unclear, is he straight or gay? And to this day, the evidence seems asexual, really.
At the 1984 Grammys, he takes home a record 8 awards.
Best album, best song. He cleaned up. Someone wrote that Tito backed up the truck and he had to put all the awards in the back of the truck to take them home.
And Michael does show up with a beautiful woman as his date. But the person on his other arm doesn't provide answers about his private life. He only raises more questions.
We know you're not touching Brooke Shields, and then there's Emmanuel Lewis on the other side. Now you're making us really nervous, but who are you with?
Jackson's actions are endless tabloid fodder. Every week there is a new headline, and though Jackson's camp claims he is the victim of press attacks, it seems he may be behind one of the more bizarre reports.
Michael Jackson's press representative called the National Enquirer, asked us to meet him, and gave us a Polaroid of Michael Jackson laying in the hyperbaric chamber.
But, says Meyer, Jackson's camp gives the photo to the Enquirer with a condition placed on a word the Enquirer must use.
And gave it to us with the contingency that bizarre be used in the story.
The year is 1987. The artist, now 29 years old, seems to lash out in his next album with songs like Bad and Leave Me Alone.
Just leave me alone.
It seems he is speaking directly to his critics. Though critics applaud Bad, it is not received as well as Thriller.
I remember with Bad, it started to turn because suddenly he did not produce a perfect album, which he had been doing. Off the Wall is a perfect album, and Thriller was unbelievable. But the Bad was the first time that he was not King Midas.
Bad was shocking in that when Bad was released, the cover of Bad, he's almost white.
But it is not all bad for Jackson. In 1988, he purchases a massive ranch in Northern California and renames it Neverland.
Neverland is part and parcel with his fascination with everything childish.
Neverland is a child's paradise. Rides, animals. It is an amusement park. Katherine Jackson, Michael's mother, says her son didn't have a typical childhood.
Michael started singing at a very young age. Most of the time he was in the studio when the other kids had free time. He did miss out on a lot of his childhood.
Michael Jackson seemingly retreats behind the gates of Neverland. With no music to focus on, the media turns its attention to his private life. Jackson is inviting more than a few children to his ranch, and the press latches on, calling him Wacko Jacko.
I can't tell you what it is with the kids. I can tell you what he said. which is that he has said that he missed out on his own childhood, and so he surrounds himself with kids in order to sort of live his childhood through them.
But in 1991, Jackson proclaims himself the king of pop and puts out another album, this time without producer Quincy Jones. Dangerous debuts at #1, though it never comes close to his Thriller album sales almost a decade earlier. In his Black or White video, which he releases to promote the album, Jackson once again shocks fans with a violent outburst. And an odd dance move or two.
What is the point of that? I think that he's just got a lot of anger, he's not quite sure how to deal with everything that's going on in his own head.
Coming up.
In Los Angeles, meanwhile, the investigation into child abuse allegations.
The allegations that would rock Jackson's world.